Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point Shorts.
Every day with you is the best day ever.
Not so dramatic.
And I haven't brought you guys a video in probably 2 weeks now. I am so behind on my recap videos, but in the next couple of days, I'm going to try and get caught up because I think with the 4th of July being in the middle of the week next week, a lot of shows aren't going to air original content or new content. We'll get some repeats and that type of thing. So hopefully I can get caught up. So this video today is not even an event video, but just to share with you guys some of the stuff that I have to go through being the mother of a child with autism. And so those of you who've been following me for a while know that I have a daughter. Her name is Jasmine. She's 31 years old and she has autism. So about, I think week before last, my oldest daughter came in from California and she wanted to go to Disney World, and so one of Jasmine's favorite places on earth is Disney World. So we decided to go over there. Now it is like 100 degrees in Florida in June. Like this is, actually I think it's hotter than normal. Usually it doesn't get this hot until like August, but the heat has come early this year. And so when my daughter said she wanted to go to Disney World, I was like, Lord Jesus, we're gonna die. I can remember like as a little kid, we used to do a 2-week summer vacation in July. Our parents would always take us on vacation and we would like start at Disney World, go to I think what was that place? Silver Springs, and just different wicky-washy little amusement parks throughout Florida as we made our way to Tallahassee, where both of my parents are from. So, you know, as a child, the heat doesn't bother you as much as it is in your older age when you become an adult. But I say, you know what? She wants to go to Disney World. We're going to go to Disney World. So, child, we get to Disney World, and we had already said, because we've had a couple of accidents on going to Disney World where Jasmine, you know, she has to use the bathroom or whatever. So I said, okay, you know, right before we get into Orlando, there's a rest stop. So let's stop at the rest stop so Jasmine can use the bathroom. We don't have any accidents or anything. We forgot to stop at the rest stop. So then we are getting in line to go through the parking where you have to pay for parking. And there was a gas station off to the side. So my daughter was like, well, Ma, do you want to stop, you know, go to the gas station? And I said, no, I think she'll be okay, you know, because she went to the bathroom before we left, so she should be okay. We parked. By the grace of God, we were like 5 parking spaces away from where the tram was going to pick us up to take us into the Magic Kingdom. So, and the trams were running quickly. So, like by the time we got out of the car and walked up, a new tram was coming and we were able to get on the tram and get on up. So then, if you've never been to Disney World, they do a lot of stuff and it's really like psychological to make you think that you're moving faster than you really are. So like the waiting on the tram, then the tram takes you around, then you have to sit on the tram until the tram can get right in front to let you off. So then we go through that, then you have to go through security. And so they had this sign up and they had the security people out there saying, if you don't have any bags, you can go through this line and, you know, bypass the whole security checkpoint. So I gave my backpack to my daughter and then I get Jazz and we go through, you know, walk on through. And so then after you go through all of that, then you get to the ticket window where you buy your tickets. And so I said, okay, well, it's too much. So I asked the security guard, I said, oh, is there a bathroom like right out in this area, or do we have to wait till we actually get inside? So he said, oh no, walk through there, go over to your left, and there's a bathroom. So we go to the bathroom, Jasmine uses the bathroom, then by the time we get back out, my daughters have gone through the security checkpoint. So we're in line, my oldest daughter, she goes to one line. Oh, and before you even get to the ticket window, you have to go through that little maze. Like I say, you know, they're making you think you're moving faster than you are because they create these mazes and stuff for everything. So we all go through the maze and we finally get up to, it's our turn we're next for the ticket window. So then Jasmine decides she wants to sit down. So we're like, Jazz, we're almost through. We're almost getting the tickets. Get up. So we're like pulling her up. She's steady trying to sit back down. I'm like, Lord. So then it was my turn to go to the window. And then my other daughter, she went to another window. So then me and my youngest daughter, we get Jasmine up. We go to the window. I get the tickets. And we get out of line, so we still have to wait for my youngest daughter and my oldest daughter. So me and Jasmine go, and so I'm trying to get her over to a bench to sit down, but then all of a sudden she plops down. We're like, oh my God. So the lady comes over, a Disney employee comes over. She's like, ma'am, do you need help? I'm like, yeah, I need to get her over to the bench. I don't know what's wrong with her. And so we finally get her over to the bench, and we're sitting down. Then she slides off the bench onto the ground. And so now I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So I said, can you please call 911, get me some medical personnel out here? I don't know what's wrong with her. So about 3 other employees come out. They got a wheelchair. They didn't call 911. They bringing umbrellas. They're bringing ice water, Powerade, like you name it. They're like, what can we do? They fanning her, trying to get her up off the ground, trying to get her into the wheelchair. She slides out of the wheelchair. So then they say, okay, well, let's get her out of the sun. Let's get her into some shade. So then we all trying to lift her up and move her over to it's like an overpass. And so we're going to lay her down, or sit her down under this overpass where there's shade. And so, of course, people are walking by like, what in the world is going on? So then finally the emergency people get there, and they come over, they're getting information. They're trying to talk to her. And I'm like, she has autism. She doesn't talk, but this has happened before. I said, one time it happened. We were at a restaurant, and we ended up taking her to the hospital. She had to get all these neuro exams and scans and MRIs and CAT scans and stuff. And so they determined that she was just so excited, that she was just overexcited. And it, her sensors got confused, and that's what caused her to faint. And then another time she did it, we were getting ready to go to Daytona Beach. And so Jasmine, when she's ready to go somewhere, like if she knows she's going somewhere, she wants to leave right then and there. So we piped up the car, like shut the air conditioning off in the house and everything. And so then I was going to give her a bath, get her dressed, and then we could like walk out the door, and we didn't have to deal with her fighting. Well, I guess it got so hot in this house because once again, it was like in June or July, and she passed out. Paramedics had to come and everything. It was just a mess. But anyway, they get her on the cart, on the stretcher, take her and put her in the back of the paramedics van. And it's like air conditioned, freezing in there. And just like that, she came back. She was okay. So we gave her something to drink. They let her lay in there for a while. And so they were telling me where all the different medical facilities were in Disney. Well, not really facilities, but if you're feeling ill, they have like little clinics, I guess. And they were like, oh, behind the Cinderella Castle, you can actually go in. There's air-conditioned rooms with beds, and she can lay down. They were like, just if anything happens, just reach out to any Disney employee, and they'll be able to direct you. They have microphones. They can get help to you as soon as possible. And so we were like, okay. So after about 30 minutes, they were like, okay, so do you want to continue on, or do you want to leave? Do you need a ride back to your car? It's really up to you. But we think that she was just dehydrated, and the heat was just too much. And so I was like, okay, we're going to carry on. We done paid all these hundreds of dollars to get in here. So we're going to go ahead with this trip. And so, the Disney employees, they were waiting outside the van, to make sure we had everything that we needed. They gave us more Powerade, more water. They was just like, here's a number you can call. This is what you do. And so they were very attentive to our needs. So then we get into the park, which is another journey, because, once you buy your ticket, you still ain't in Disney World. You either take the monorail or you take a ferry boat to the inside of the actual park. And once you get over there, that's where you give your ticket, and they fingerprint you. They do the little fingerprint scan and all of that. We made our way into the park, and she was pretty good for the rest of the day. We thought it was funny that she loves to go on the Mad Tea Party ride. And so once you go in with a person with special needs, they'll let you like skip to the front of the line. So we go get to the Mad Tea Party. She wanted to do that. Then it's our turn to get on the teacups. And she walks in, and all of a sudden she's just like, no, she don't want to do it. So she turns around and leaves. But they did go ahead and let my other two daughters get on and ride. And so we go through the park and everything, and time pretty much went by fast. It really, I mean, Disney is always crowded, but it wasn't as crowded as it usually is. And so the last thing we were going to do was ride the train, which takes you around the Disney park. And so we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And so when the train comes back again, we don't get on because there were so many people and they weren't handling the special needs line the way that they should have. So then the guy was like, I'm so sorry. He said, but another train will be here in 20 minutes. And if you guys just wait patiently, I'll make sure that you're the first ones on. And so we're like, okay, whatever. So we sit there and we wait and we wait and we wait. And then all of a sudden, a big flash of lightning came. And so that was the end of the Disney trip, because when there's lightning in the area, they shut down all the, they shut down the train, they shut down all the rides that are open. So like the Grand Prix carts, any roller coasters or anything that are outside, they shut all of that down. And if there are no strikes for the next 30 minutes, then they'll reopen the rides. But it was a storm coming in, and it was supposed to rain the rest of the night. So we were like, okay, this wasn't the best Disney trip that we've ever had. But, you know, we were able to get to Disney, have some fun, and yeah. So that was one trial of being the parent of a child with autism. So the day after the Disney trip, I had an appointment with Social Security Administration, which I don't fool with Social Security Administration. And so even as my daughter, like when she was first diagnosed at the age of 3, you know, people started reaching out to us for different services and everything. And, you know, I would go ahead and do it. She was put into PARC, which is the Pinellas Association for Retarded Children, and can't believe that in this day and age, they still use the term retarded. But anyway, it's a nonprofit organization that helps people with special needs kids. And so actually, before she was diagnosed with autism, when she was 9 months old, she had a seizure. And so as a result of her having the seizure, we were contacted by PARC, and they were saying, oh, you know, we have specialists. She can come, you know, if you don't want to put her back in a daycare center or with a babysitter, she can come to PARC, and we have all these services. And so she was at PARC, and when she turned 3 years old, that's when they wanted to test her for autism, and they thought that's what was going on with her. And so I never applied for services, you know, because I was working, you know, making pretty good money. And so just if somebody offers something, we do it, you know, like the PARC was free, but I was like, okay, you know, they say you can contribute whatever you can. So I would, you know, pay a certain amount every week to pay for her meals, or, you know, if they were going on a trip or anything, I would pay for that. So after she turned, I think 5, they say, okay, well, we can put her in public school. So we have a public school here called Nina Harris. And Nina Harris is a school where kids with special needs, any kind of medical condition or whatever, they go there. And she was able to go there until she was actually 20, the year she turned 23. So she was 22 when she graduated from high school. So while she was under the age of 18, eventually, I think she was probably like 5 or 6 years old when her teacher at PARC was like, well, did she get SSI? You know, that'll help you pay for the before and after school care. So, you know, you can go to work and everything. You don't have to worry about her. So I applied for SSI, and I think at the time she may have qualified for like $121 a month or something like that. So I was like, okay, so we're getting $121 a month. Then they come back and you have to recertify every year, and then they want you to go to the doctors every 2 or 3 years to show that the person is still autistic. I mean, like, I don't know people who are not, who are diagnosed as being autistic, who wake up one day and are no longer autistic. But anyway, we would have to go through all of this, and it was like, Lord, I have time for all this. And so over the years, the SSI would get decreased. And I think she was down to like $45 a month when they came to me and said, oh, we realized that we overpaid you the last 2 or 3 years. And so she's going to have to pay that money back. And so her SSI is going to drop from $45 a month to like $20 a month to pay for this overage. I'm just like, y'all can take all of this money because I really don't need it. I really don't care. So I think after she paid the whatever the $3,000 or however much it was. After she paid that money back, I just never recertified, never reapplied for the SSI, because I was just like, I'm not going through this for these few dollars y'all trying to offer her. So when she turned 18, you know, she was declared an adult, and so they no longer had to base her SSI on my income. So then she went to the full SSI amount, and I think back then it may have been like $629 a month. Then they contacted me and said, oh, because she's an adult and she's getting the SSI, she automatically qualifies for food benefits. And so at the time, the maximum amount you could get for food benefits was $189 a person. So, you know, they start giving her the food benefits. And then over time, people who get SSI, they get like a cost of living increase on most years. And there have actually been a couple of years where she hasn't gotten an increase. So she's gone from, at the age of 18, getting the $629 or however much it was, and the $189 in food benefits, to now she's 31 and she gets the the SSI has increased to $750. And so with the food benefits, every cost of living increase that she gets, they detract that or subtract that from the amount of food benefits that she gets. So right now she gets the $750 in SSI and $132 in food benefits. Okay, y'all following me here? So I'm like, okay, so I get this letter in the mail saying that, oh, we need you to come in and recertify. And I think they do this like every 5 years. So I'm like, okay. So their appointment is on June 21st at 12 o'clock at this location. So I'm like, okay. So me and Jazz go down to Social Security Administration. And remember I told y'all, I don't like dealing with these people. I don't like these people being in my business. Leave me alone. If you're going to give her the benefits, give her the benefits. If not, leave me alone. So we get there. I tell the security guard, okay, you know, we have a 12 o'clock appointment. He says, okay, we'll go over there to the kiosk and sign in and get a number. Why do I need a number if I have an appointment? Oh, everybody has to take a number. So I'm like, oh, Lord, how's this going to work out? Because Jasmine's going to get impatient. She ain't going to be bothered with this. But we're going to play along and see how it goes. So I go and sign into the kiosk. I get the number. We sit there, we wait, and then after about 20 minutes, they say, you know, they call the number, come to this window for check-in. So I go, I tell the guy, you know, I have an appointment. So he was like, oh, she hasn't gotten to you yet. Go back out and wait. You know, I'll let her know you're here, and you go back out and wait. And I said, okay, my daughter has autism. I don't know how long she's going to behave, so I need to know how long is this going to take. So he goes over to the lady. She's like, oh, well, it'll be a few minutes. So I was like, okay, so we go back and we sit for like probably another 10 minutes. So then they finally call us back. So we go back. The lady already has an attitude, as all Social Security workers have an attitude. I don't understand why people who don't like dealing with people always end up in jobs dealing with people. And I don't know if it's a requirement to work for Social Security that you have to have a nasty attitude, but I just always feel like whenever I have had to go in and talk to them, it's like they have this preconceived notion that everybody that gets SSI or get these benefits are like scamming the system, they're irresponsible, you know, they're wasting the money. And it's like they think that the money that they're giving to the person with the disability is their money, like it's coming out of their paycheck. And so I'm just like, girl. So she's going through her little questionnaire, asking questions. And so then she asked me, well, how much of Jasmine's money go towards her living expenses? And I'm sitting there like, you give her $750 a month. All of it goes towards her living expenses. And so she says, well, like how much does it, are you using the $750 to pay the rent, you know, to pay your rent? And I'm like, first of all, I own my house, so I don't have no rent. So, and she has to have a place to live. So yes, some of that money does go towards paying the mortgage. And so she says, well, how much goes? I said, lady, I have to take care of all her needs. So I don't sit there and say, oh, well, Jasmine, I'm going to charge you X amount of dollars to live here. You know, the $750 comes, her needs are taken care of. She has a place to live, food to eat. What are you talking about? So then she was like, well, you know, does this person still live in the house? Talking about my oldest daughter. No, she doesn't. does this person still live in the house? You know, my youngest daughter. So I was like, yes, she lives there. And so then she says, well, how much does she pay for rent? So I'm like, I said, it doesn't matter. It's my house. What is the point you're trying to get at? Well, let me calculate this. So that she goes on her little computer and she was like, well, does the amount of your mortgage, does that include taxes and insurance? I said, well, it includes the property taxes, but I pay the insurance separate. And so then she says, okay, well, based on my calculations with 3 people in the house and your light bills and your water bill and the mortgage with the insurance, everybody should be paying X amount of dollars. Okay, whatever. So then she says, so what do you use the rest of the money on? I'm like, the rest of what money? And so she says, well, I'm showing that based on my calculations, there should be $180, $81 remaining out of the $750. She said, so what does you spend the rest of that money on? And so I said, okay, well, you know, I got all day. And as long as Jasmine's sitting over here in this chair being good, we're going to sit here and play this game with you. So I just started naming off one by one. I said, well, you know, she loves watching certain channels on television, and the only way I can get those channels is if I had a premium package with DirecTV. I say, so that's where money goes to. I say she likes listening to the radio. She likes doing, you know, playing this game or playing that game. You know, we need to have Pandora so she can listen to her Christmas music. And I, you know, kept going down the line. I said, and then she has to eat. And so she said, well, I'm showing that she's getting food benefits. I said, yeah, she gets $132 a month, and I can spend $132 on her alone that would last like 2 or 3 days. And so and she's like, well, what are you spending the money on? So I started naming the different cereals she liked: milk, eggs, bacon. You know, she likes shrimp pasta. She likes this, she likes that. Like all the food that I gotta buy that I'm spending all this money on that you think that them damn $132 is going to cover. And so then I got down to the clothing items. You know, she needs clothes, she needs underwear, she needs bras, she needs shoes, she needs socks. You know, she needs hats. She needs, you know, for when we're going out into the sun. Oh, toiletry items. She needs Kotex. She needs soap. She needs mouthwash. She needs blah, blah. You know, just listing all the things. And I'm sitting there thinking like, she's sitting here acting like men who don't want to pay child support, how they be acting like, what you spending the money on? And then finally I had to tell her, like, can you live off of $750 a month and $132 in food benefits? Like, would you be able to survive on that amount of money? So why are you sitting here grilling me about this? And then she goes on and she goes, well, now the bank account, is that in her name? And I'm like, what bank account? And he was like, the bank account that the SSI is deposited into. And so I was like, no, it's not in her name. It's in my name, the same name that it has been in for the last 30 years. What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, well, the bank account can't be in your name. It has to be in her name and list her as the payee. And so I was like, okay, what else? Is there anything else that you want? So then she's sitting there and she just typing. So I pulled out my phone and I started going on Facebook. I watched a couple of YouTube videos. I said, because I got all day, lady. If you want to sit here and play games, I'm going to sit here and play games with you. So then after about 15 minutes, she realized that I was giving her zero attention. So then she was like, okay, well, yeah, you're going to need to either add her name to the bank account or you're going to have to open her a bank account on her own. And I'm going to notate here that you're going to get back to me within 30 days with the bank account name and number. I was like, girl, what else? So she was like, well, that's it. I said, okay, thank you. Well, you have a good day. Now, I don't know if any of you watching get SSI or any kind of benefits, but for the people who are like scamming the government and getting benefits, putting their kids on Ritalin and all this stuff so they can get this SSI, I guess they don't, it doesn't bother them as long as they're getting the money. Because I know somebody who has like 4 kids, all her kids are getting SSI checks. I think like her total household income from SSI and food benefits is like $3,500 a month. So she probably don't mind going down there talking with them and appeasing them, but I have things to do And my time is valuable to me, and I really don't have time. So you guys let me know in the comments, am I wrong for feeling this way? And if you have had experiences with SS, with the Social Security office, let me know how you deal with them, because I'm telling you, it better be another 5 or 10 years before they send another letter to my house and I come down there and talk to them. So that's it for me, guys. Just want to share that with you, let you know that I am going to work on the recaps and get some of those up. And so it's raining here in St. Petersburg, so I'm stuck in this house. But you guys enjoy your weekend. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel. And I shall talk to you later. Bye-bye.